Fine. So yeah, so what we have done, what we have done. So as of today, we have discussed about, right, the EC2 Linux, right, Linux, and how to attach a new volume to your Windows server, right? So we have seen many things. So let's understand the concept called volumes, snapshots, and AMIs in Linux. Okay, so in AWS. Okay, right. So what is DNS? Okay, yeah, right. So volumes, snapshots, okay, and AMIs. So we have seen EC2 is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud, right? So right, this is nothing but you can create a server. You can create a server in AWS, right? Using this, you can create a server, right? So let me connect to AWS account. So how we are connecting? By signing into which website? AWS dot aws.amazon.com. aws.amazon.com. You have to go to aws.amazon.com, right? So once you logged in, you need to click on sign up. If you're not having the account, AWS account, please go ahead and create it. So follow the day, right? Follow the day two recording, okay, and try to create your AWS account, okay. So anyway, so let me connect to it. How to connect? So let me provide the username and the password So let me provide the username, yeah, and let me provide the password. Right, I just logged in. So let me open this, right? So as I said, AWS, right, EC2 is nothing but a server, right? So whenever you see EC2 is nothing but your server. So whenever you create a server, that server related disks are there, right? The disk we will call it as volumes. The disk we will call it as volumes. So we can call it as volumes, or we can call it as EBS volumes. EBS is nothing but elastic block storage. So why we are calling it as elastic? That means we can increase if you want, right? If you want, you can increase. If you want, you can decrease, right? You have that options to do that. So that's why we are calling it as, right, elastic block, right? Elastic, right? Elastic. We can increase, we can decrease. We have that futures, right? So we have, right, as I said, we'll discuss about snapshots. So here the EBS storage is nothing but a disk, and snapshot is nothing but a uh, we will call it as the backup. The backup. So if you see here, so if I want to create a server or a computer in AWS, this is a server. That server related disk is there, right? This is, for example, my Windows server, right? This is my Windows server. For my Windows server, this is C drive, right? The C drive. So I will call this is Windows EC2 server. The C drive is nothing but a EBS volume. We'll call it as EBS volume, right? We call it as EBS volume. We'll call it as EBS volume, right? So it's nothing but a disk. It's nothing but a disk. So here, snapshot is nothing but a backup. That means, so if this disk is corrupted, but you have huge information like 500 GB or 1 TB information, huge information is there. So how you take the backup? If this is some, for example, crashed, how you'll get that? So you have a service in AWS called Snapshot. You can see Snapshot. This is a feature, okay, of EC2. Okay, so this is Snapshot. This is volume. These are instances. These are instances. So we'll call it as, right. So if you want to take a backup, consider this is a backup. So we'll call it as snapshot, right? As I said, it's a backup. Call it as backup, right? So nothing but, as I said, this is EBS volume. This is backup, right? This is a EC2 cell. So, right, I already told you in the initial classes, you have to maintain a rough notes. Okay, you have to maintain a rough notes. Okay, and whenever I provide some time, right, you can note it down. Okay, or simply take a screenshot. Okay, screenshot, right? So to do that. Okay, yeah. So these are the right. These are all about these three. But what about this AM? What about this AM? So AMI is nothing but Amazon machine image. Amazon machine image. I would call this is a OS template. I'll call this is a OS template. So if you want to create a Windows server, you should have a OS, right? So for example, in your laptop, if you want to install, if you want to install some Linux operating system or Windows operating system, you should have a AMI. You should have a OS file, right? So here AMI is nothing but your OS file or OS template. Okay. So let's see this. Okay, we already have the EC2. You know that, right? So if you want to create, you can launch it. You have to go to which service. If you want to create a server, EC2, right? So if you click on EC2, if you click on EC2, if you click on instances, you click on instances, right? There are no servers. I am under which region? North Virginia, right? As I told you, region is nothing but collection of data center, right? Collection of data centers, right? So this North Virginia is one data center. We have multiple data centers in AWS, right? So, and we have each region will have 3 or more availability zones. Availability zones. So availability zone is nothing but individual data center. Individual DC data center. So for example, so this is consider entire North Virginia. In that entire North Virginia, consider okay, consider this is one availability zone. Okay, this is one availability zone. This is another availability zone. This is another availability zone. We'll call this is North Virginia. Okay, North Virginia. Okay, you can see here North Virginia, right? What is the term? What is the denotation? Denominator, right? It is denoted as US East 1, right? North Virginia, US East 1, right? So this individual data centers, right? This is US East 1A, is one of the data center. This is another data center. This is another data center. Okay. So why? Because high availability. So we will maintain similar kind of servers in another data center as well. What is the advantage? If one is down, still customer can access another server. Highly available application. Okay. Anyway, right? So as I said, so region is nothing but collection of data centers. Availability zone is nothing but individual data center. Fine. So we are into this, right? We are into this, right, concept of region and availability zone. So where you can see how many availability zones, how many regions in AWS we have. This structure, global infrastructure of AWS. Here you can see the map, 33 regions, 105 availability zones. In India, Hyderabad is a region, 3 availability zones, right? In Mumbai is a region, it's having 3 availability zones, right? So anyway, if you want to create a server, just click on launch instance. Launch instance. If you click on launch instance, I want to create one server. Name of the server is, for example, some Chekri server. Okay. And if you want Amazon Linux operating system, Linux, okay, you can select it. If you want Ubuntu, you can select it, right? So I will go with Amazon Linux. 2000. This is a AMI, as I said, it's a OS template. You can see AMI. Okay. So here I'm selecting the OS called Amazon Linux. The AMI is Amazon Linux, right? So, and after that, instance type is a RAM. I'm going with 1 GB RAM. And key pair is nothing but a password. I will use existing password. If you want to create a new, you can create a new. Okay. Okay. It will get downloaded. So anyway, this is networking. We can ignore it for today. So this is configure storage, your disk. So I want to create a disk, for example, 8 GB. Okay. You can select 8 GB. Okay. Where you will see that currently nothing, right? No volume, no disk, right? So once you created a server, that server related disk under this volume section. Okay. Anyway, so 8 GB, right? If you click on advanced settings, if you see this 8 GB, this 8 GB is delete on termination S. That means if you delete this server, this disk also automatically deleted. You got my point? You got my point? So delete on termination, that means for this 8 GB disk will be deleted. Okay. So if you want to create a server, let's launch it. What server? One server created, Amazon Linux, 8 GB hard disk, 1 GB RAM. This is Chekri server. The Chekri server related storage you can see, 8 GB, right? You can see here also in the volume section. If you refresh, you can see that 8 GB. In AWS, everything will have its own ID. Okay, this is volume ID. This is 8 GB. This is 3000 IOPS. Throughput is 125. Okay, so 8, right? This is under which availability zone? This Chekri server, you can see, created under the US East 1C, right? It is created under this one, right? It is created under this one, right? Here it is created, right? Right? It is created under 1C, right? Like this, right? So anyway, right? So fine, no problem. This is our 1C availability zone, right? So right, this how to select. For example, I want to create under 1A, but how to select it? Okay, I will show that. So if you click on launch, if you want to create under 1A, if you go down in the network settings, if you click on edit, subnet, here you can select if you want to create it under 1E, if you want to select under 1A, 1D, right? 1F, 1C, right? 1B, right? You can select. If you didn't select it, AWS will select any availability zone. Available, right? Any availability zone, it will select. Okay. No preference. That's why no preference. So if you didn't selected anything, it will provided by AWS. Okay. Anyway, no problem. Our server is ready, right? Our server is ready. So I have the volume. This is This is my 8 GB. The name is not there. Let me provide primary disk. It is for my Linux. Primary disk. Primary disk. So this is attached to which server? The Checkri server, right? The Checkri server. If you want to connect a server, select the server, click on connect, connect to it, right? You're connecting to your right Linux server. Let's wait. It will get connected. Right, it is connect. If you want to verify your 8 GB, you can run lsblk is a command. Okay, this 8 GB is part of which folder? Integrated to which folder? Slash folder. This slash folder having what are the files? Use ls command. You can see these are all the operating system files, right? So you can go through the Linux once again. Okay, so what is ls, right? The commands. Anyway, no problem. So now we are good with this process. And out of 8 GB, how much is used for this slash folder? How to know that? df-h, disk free size with header. Disk free size with header. So you can see out of the 8 GBs, how much is used? 1.6 GB for these files and folders. 19% is used, 6.5 GB is free, right? For example, I want to add a new disk. I want to add a new disk. So if you want to add a new disk, if your server is under 1A, your new disk also should be under 1A. Why? Because the connectivity between server and the disk using cables. For example, at what I said in the initial days, the two availability zone, 1A and 1B availability zone, space should be 100 kilometers, minimum 100 kilo, the distance, right? Why? Because if this server is not working fine, any power cut, any disaster, any cyclone, right? Still customer can access. Customer can access the distance between two availability zones. Minimum 100, maximum it can be anything. Maximum it can be anything, right? So that should be fine. So if I go back, right? If I go back, let me go back to this, right? Your volume also should be under same available. For example, it is in here, your volume, it cannot be possible. The 100 kilometers wire. Are you getting, right? Are you getting? So what you should do, if you want to create a new disk, you can click on create volume. Here you can select. So how we have, right, hard disk in the market, uh, HDD hard disk, SSD hard disk, right? A lot of people know that already, right? So, right. So we will call it as HDD is nothing but hard disk drive. SSD is nothing but solid state drive. In AWS, HDD is again three types: cold, throughput, magnetic. SSD is faster. So if you compare HDD is, you will get more space, more size, speed is less, price is okay. But coming to SSD, SSD is faster, less in size for the same, right? The price, right? If you purchased, right, 500 GB SSD, right, with that 500 GB SSD money, right, you can purchase HDD at least 2 GB. That is the pricing, okay, because it is faster, right? You get less size, but price is right. Speed is more. There is no hang in your system, right? More, and price is bit high, not full high, but bit high. Okay, so there are three types. There are two types. SSDs, two types. General purpose, provisioned, IOPS purpose. Okay. So this is cold and throughput and magnetic. Okay. So I will provide the material. Okay. So the differences you can find out there. So anyway, so most of the companies are using SSD, SSD, solid state drive. Solid state drive, as I said, there are two types: general purpose called GP. You can see it is GP3, general purpose 3, third version. We have general purpose second version, and we have proven IOPS, speed purpose. If you have a general application, you can use general purpose 3 or 2. If you need a speed based application, you can use IO1 or IO2. If you want to store more information, you can use cold HDD or throughput HDD. The magnetic is having less. You will get only 1 TB data you can upload. So we will use very less. Let's take, right, right, right. So this is, right, this is, right, this is GP3. Okay, GP3, right. So I want to create a new disk with 25 GB, with 25 GB. Okay, so 25 GB of, right, 25 GB of, right, new disk. I want to create a new disk with 25 GB. Speed is 3000 IOPS, and throughput also the retrieval speed. Where you need to create? You should be create under where your server, under 1C. Your new disk also should be under 1C. Okay, fine, that is fine, right? And next, tag is nothing but the, right, naming purpose, right, right. This is a secondary disk of 25 GB, right, secondary disk, which is fine. Let me create it. Your secondary disk GP3 25 GB is created. It is creating. If you click on refresh, this is refresh button, it is available. That means ready to attach to a server. How to attach it? If you see, is it attached to any server? Nothing. How to attach it? Select your disk. As I said, right, volume IDs are there, right? Each one will have its own ID. Okay, select the volume, go to actions, attach volume, attach it to what? Your checklist. Why we are seeing only checklist error? Because under this, right, under this availability zone, that means 1C, there is only one server called checklist. Okay, select, and now you can attach. You have attached your new disk, right? You can see attached server is checklist. Earlier you can see storage 1. If you refresh, you can see the second one as well, right? You can see. Anyway, so if you observe in your server, if you run lsblk again, earlier you are not able to see this 25 GB, right? Now you can see. But it is not properly attached. How to attach properly? You need to link it to a particular folder. Here you link this 8 GB to a particular folder. Similarly, you need to link this 25 GB to a particular folder. So for that, create one folder, mk. So which command we'll use to create a folder? Create a folder, mk dir, right? So I will ask you the questions at the end, okay? So Linux questions. So mkdir, okay? So mkdir, the folder, I want to create a new volume folder, right? So why the permission is denied? Can anyone? Why the permission is denied? What is the error you're getting? So why the permission denied error? So I should I should provide root permission like sudo before this, because EC2 user will have sudo permission, right? The file is created. If you want to verify, you can see new word. The folder is there. You want to link this. At least we have should be a root user. What is the command to become the root user? So after that, yeah, you can put it in chat. Okay. So after that, you need to make this 25 GB. It is a raw data. So you need to make it as a file system. There is a command mkfs make file system. -t means type. I want to change the type to ext4, and of which disk? /dev, because this xvdf under dev folder, new devices under dev folder, right? What is the name? Xvd, right? So mkfs, right? -t. So same permission needed, because you should become root at sudo, right? Just put sudo before. It is converted. So now what you have to do? You have to mount the data. So mount to which folder? This /dev xvdf. You have to mount it to new volume, right? Now if you see lsblk is linked to new volume. Now if you see df-h, right? 24K is used, 3 remaining, 1% is used, and linked to new one. So I will provide the commands over chart. You can use it. Okay. Let me put our chart. Right. So right, this is how we will attach new disk, new volume. Right. If you don't want, you can simply unmount. Okay. Unmount / new volume. You should become root. Okay. Otherwise, you can use sudo su and run these commands. Run these commands. Fine. So right, fine. I become the root user. I did that. So now if you don't want this volume, how to delete it? How to delete this new second? It is select it. First of all, detach it. Detach volume. Detach. You detached it. And if you want to, right, if you want to remove this, you can use delete option. It is deleted. Right. So can you note down the commands? Can you note down the commands? I will give them 2 to 3 minutes. Just note down. Right. Fine. Right. So these are the commands. You can take a screenshot otherwise. So this is how you will attach your new disk. You will delete your new disk. Right. You have to run some commands. How to attach new disk for Windows? We already seen using disk management. Right. So let's try to understand. So how to fix this issue? Which issue? If you have a disk in 1B, I want to attach this 1B disk to a server. It is not possible. But how to overcome this? We have the feature called snapshots. So I would say snapshots are backups. Okay, we can got it as point in time backup. Point in time backup. So for example, if you want to attach a new disk, it is having 50 GB valuable information. you want to attach this 50 GB to this server. It's mandatory. How to overcome? You can take this disk, create it as a backup, create it as a snapshot, and from the snapshot, wherever you want to create, you can create your disk. Okay, from the snapshot, you can create your disk wherever you want. Okay, so that is the future of the snapshot. Okay, that is the future of your snapshot. For example, you are taking snapshot every day from your disk. Okay, for example, this disk, you are creating a snapshot. Today you have created a snapshot. Today you have created a snapshot, and tomorrow you have created a snapshot. Today is June 1st, tomorrow is June 2nd, next day is June 3rd, right? Like this. So you have created a backup 1, 2, 3. Okay, day 1, day 2, day 3. Your colleague deleted some data from this day 3, day 2, for example, day 2. But how you will get that backup? Yes, still we have a snapshot. From the snapshot, you can create a new disk and delete your old disk. Okay, delete your old disk and attach to your server. Attach to your server. Okay, so right, you can create your new disk from the snapshot wherever you want, whether A availability zone, B availability zone. You can attach and detach your old disk. Like this. Okay, right? The snapshots are point in time backup. So if you want to create a snapshot, is there any snapshot or nothing, right? How to find out snapshots? Simple, you can search it. Snapshots are EC2 feature. Just click on it. Right? Just click on it. Right? Right? So currently there are no snapshot. How to create it? This is my existing volume, which is under 1C. Okay, I can create a snapshot from the disk. Go to actions, create snapshot, and provide description. C snapshot, right? C, right? Availability zone C. Provide a name, aged C snapshot, right? Create it. This is a snapshot. If you see, it is created from the availability zone C. From this snapshot, you can create your right your new disk wherever you want. It is creating. Wait, it's creating. In couple of minutes, it will come up. Okay. So as I said, snapshot is nothing but a point in time backup. What we will call it as point in time backup. Okay. Let's wait. It will come to up and running. Okay, right? So let's wait, it will come to completed, right? Select that snapshot. If you want to create a volume, go to actions, create volume from snapshot. Here, if you want to create SSD, if you want to create HDD, or if you want to create some 50 GB, 25 GB, right? And if you want to create it under 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, wherever you want, you can simply do that, right? We can simply do that thing. Okay, so anyway, right? If you want to create it under one select it, provide a name, uh, one a volume from 1C snapshot. That's it, right? So let me create. Earlier there is only one volume. If you refresh, you can see new one. Under where it is? Under it is 1A availability. It is available. If you want to attach to new, you can attach it. Anyway, if you want to delete it, select it, actions, delete. If you want to delete a snapshot, select it, actions, delete it. Right? So snapshots are point in time backups. Point in time backups. Okay. Yeah. Right? So if you want to take a screenshot, just take a screenshot or note it down. I'll give some 1 minute. Just note it down. Let's take a screenshot. Okay. So we can discuss the another important component in EC2 is called Amazon Machine Image. We can call it as AMI. It is nothing but your OS template. So whenever I ask you to create a server, you are clicking on Linux launch instance. You're clicking on launch instance. So number of servers are one. Here you are selecting. So if you created a server, it is creating within, if you are trying to create a server, it is creating within 2 minutes. Why? Because it is created very faster. It is using AMI. AMI is having required software configuration called OS, called application, right? Related things, right? So that is the reason it is created very fast, right? Very pure, right? Very accuracy is there, right? So this is your Amazon machine image. So right, you can select in different categories. That means what you're doing basically, this is your AMI from AWS. From this AMI, you're creating a server. You're creating a server, right? So this is your server, right? So this server, right? You're connecting, you're working on something, right? Fine. You worked for something. You worked for around 3 years. You worked for around 3 years, okay? Or for example, 3 months, okay? The 3 months work is here in this server. Your manager is asking you to create a similar server. Similar server. How you can create it? How you can create it? Right? For example, this is another AWS account. right? How you can create it? You can do one thing. You can create your own AMI from a running server. I would say this is base AMI because this is the base. I would say this is your AMI, your AMI. So right. So this is your AMI. Okay. Right. You can create your own AMI from the server or from the snapshot also. For example, this is your disk. From the disk, you can create your snapshot. Okay. From the snapshot also, you can create your own AMI. Okay. You can create your own AMI. Right. So the snapshot, the AMI can be created in two methods from the EC2 or from the snapshot. This is nothing but your disk or volume. Just note down it, just take a screenshot. We can see how to create your own AMI. Okay, just take a screenshot. Fine. So we have the AMI creation methods too. From the EC2 you can create, from the snapshot also you can create, right? So right, I hope you have taken screenshot. Fine. So right, so if you go here, so you can select your instances in select your AMI in three methods. AMIs are three types. One is, if you see where you can see that whenever you click on launch instance, whenever you click on launch instance, the AMIs are majorly three categories. One is my AMIs, that means created by you, that means these, right? AMIs are three majorly my AMIs. Another one is marketplace AMIs. These are not free. Okay. Some people install their own applications and they are selling it in the market and they are charging hourly based. They're charging hourly based, like $0.69 or 2.59 per hour. We will call these are marketplace. So, right, we can call it as marketplace. The other one is community. These are free, like different communities, Ubuntu community, Red Hat community. They are giving this right for not free. Okay, so for free. Sorry. So community, right? Community. Yeah, these are free. Okay, these are paid versions, right? You have to pay, and this is your AMS. Okay, your AMS. If you want to sell it, you can also sell it. Okay, in the market. Anyway, right? If you go back, this is my checklist server. If I want to create my own AMI with this, where I can see that all the AMIs, you can see AMI, it's a EC2 future. Say EC2 future, right? You can see that, right? So there are no AMIs here, right? There are no AMIs here. So from the snapshot, you can create. From the server, you can create. So anyway, if you see the snapshots, there are nothing. Let's create a snapshot. Take this volume, go to actions, create snapshot, wait. If you want to provide name, you can provide it later also. Okay. It is getting created. Okay. Which is very faster, completed in with very faster rate. And right, this is your server. From the server, you can create a AMI. How to create? Go to actions, images and templates, create a image. You can provide an image called my AMI from EC2. Description also same. Remaining everything is same. Let's create. Right? If you see your AMI, my AMI from EC2 getting created. And from the snapshot also you can create. How to create? Take your snapshot, go to actions, create an image, provide a name, provide some description. My AMI from snapshot, my AMI a description, right? Remaining everything is common. Let's create. You can see your AMI. This is from EC2. This is from snapshot. This is comes very faster. You can see from snapshot AMI ready state. But which one I created first? I created this one first, EC2. Why it is taking more time? Still in pending, still in pending. Because this is a server, okay? So the disk will have more, right? Operating, right? More things to be, right? Taken care, operating system, everything. But this server, right, is not an organized one. It took some time. So most of the cases in our, right, mostly in the organization will use AMIs from the snapshots or right snapshots will use. Okay, at least one is available. Let's wait. Let's go instances. How to select it? Go to actions. Instead of quick start, you can go to my AMI. Quick start means frequently used ones. Frequently used ones. Go to my AMIs. Here you can see your AMIs. My AMI from EC2, my AMI from snapshot, right? You can see that. If you want to create, you can create. If you want to create, you can create from your AMI. Okay. But if you want to remove, how to remove? Select it, go to actions. You have an option called deregister, right? It will be deregister, right? So, right, it will be deregister like this. Now here, if you refresh, if you go to my right my AMS, if you right, if you go to cancel, if you click on launch again, my AMS, you can see only one. Other one is deleted or deregistered, right? So which is still it is taking time if you observe, right? So mostly in the organization will use the AMIs created from the snapshots, created from the snapshots. Okay, right? So this is how you will work with, right? You can see it is available, right? If you want to remove, go to actions, okay, deregister. If you want to change, if you want to make, if you want to copy the AMI, right, from one region to another region, you can copy, right, one region to another region like this, right? So once you can enable this, right? So you can do that, right? If you want to deregister, if you want to, right, permissions, if you make it as public, right, you can make it public. So if you want to share it to some other account, you can share it. Okay, account ID, right? So this is why this deactivated. This is not. This is a free account, right? For free account, some options are disabled. Okay, so yeah, so that's it from today about these concepts. If you didn't take a screenshot, please take a screenshot, guys. Thank you.